I 30M, and my wife 30F, got married recently. We were together for 6 years before marriage and engaged for 3, delayed the wedding twice because of COVID. Her mental health has always been a struggle: depression, ADHD, anxiety, but during the relationship it feels like it's slowly been getting worse, and COVID was really bad. She really struggled with not seeing people during the height of the pandemic, and anxiety from a family health scare. During this time she lost her job but got a new one quickly after that. Was remote, but therefore more irregular with ours. I have always tried my best to be supportive, and she's said in the past that she felt I was the only person she's ever met who made her feel she could become who she wants to be. But I suppose that stopped being true at some point. A few months after our wedding, she got COVID and also had long COVID symptoms for a while. It was very difficult mentally and physically. I think she was mostly recovered after several months when she got COVID again and long COVID symptoms again. We knew better how to manage it, so it improved slightly faster, but stress-wise, it all became too much. After she got COVID the second time, we started being much more careful with our masking. We only ate indoors for important occasions and wore masks in bars. We sat outside in the winter at any place that still had outdoor seating. But after her second COVID recovery, she spiraled into a depression worse than I had seen before. She decided to take a leave from work. During the depressive episode and leave, I fed her, did all the household chores, and worked full-time. During her leave, she started improving. She attempted to do many things, like take classes, but the only thing that she really did consistently was yoga. Her sleep schedule was really inconsistent from the depression, so she would often struggle to go to sleep, resulting in being up late and then napping and continuing to cycle with late sleep times. This meant that she would take later yoga classes after dinner and then have energy. She would say she's going to go to a bar with friends from the class, or that she was going to draw at some bar after, or that she needed to think about therapy, etc. Usually, she would say her intention was to be at the bar for an hour or two and then come home. But she would inevitably say just another 2 hours while I think about things, and do that again, until bars closed. Then she'd come home, sometimes drunk. During recovery from a depressive episode and long COVID, I thought this was an unhealthy coping mechanism, and it made her sleep even worse. It meant she'd sleep through the day and not get vitamin D. And sleep quality is so crucial for mental health as well. I would say my thoughts on this, but she's always been defensive about feedback from me. I've journaled about this many times and talked to her about it, including asking her to talk to her therapist about it. But during our couples therapy sessions, we never really got to issues I had with her communication. We only talked about methods I should use to ensure I don't trigger her from past trauma and how we can both de-escalate very valuable things. Of course. But this time I suppose was too much. During her times out, guys would talk to her. Eventually, one wore her down, and she made out with him. She gave him her alternate email, and they'd meet up to make out, eventually having sex. She also met 2 other people who she told she wanted something purely physical with, but she says she never had physical sex with them. She would send dirty texts to them and masturbate to their texts. I discovered this when I picked up her phone to charge it when she was napping. We have each other on Face It and Thumbprint, and when you start charging, the screen lights up and shows past notifications. I saw a weird text, so I opened her phone and looked at it. I didn't think it was suspicious when I clicked on it and had literally zero suspicions until I realized what I was actually reading. I looked at it purely with curiosity because we were so open, otherwise I thought I was distraught. But I also saw that this guy sent emails to her alternate email that she doesn't keep open by default. I sent myself the emails so she couldn't deny anything later. She woke up from her nap, and we talked and cried. I was so broken and numb, but her remorse seemed so complete, and she said that she was dying to be wanted and feel young and alive. She said she never wanted to be with anyone else. She said she's messed up mentally and she's so sorry she's destroyed our marriage too. I wanted to work on this, her mental health, and us, and I told her I wanted to be with her. The next day was hard, but we seemed to get through it somehow. Then she had a therapist appointment. We talked about it afterward. Her therapist seemed to tell her she's never done this before, so it isn't who she is. She was feeling trapped and wanted attention. The leave from work and freedom is working for her mental health, which is true. It was a violation of privacy the way I discovered it. And during this conversation, all these things she said very defensively and with an attitude of blaming me for her actions. I was not happy about the perceived lack of guilt. Over the next few days, she seemed to take responsibility, and I had hope for our growth from this. But then she wanted to think about what to do about her job after an afternoon yoga class. This was 5 days after I found out. After she delayed when she'd come home again and again. I told her to take her time until she told me she'd be home by 2. I said she can't do the exact thing she did when she cheated this soon after cheating. How can she expect me to trust her? She had location sharing on her phone, and I went to the bar she was at. I told her this again in person. She said she was staying until 2 and that's how it was. I left, and she did come home later. I don't think she cheated or anything. After couples therapy the day after, she had another therapist appointment a few hours later. After that, she's basically not been home. She has told me semi-loose plans, having dinner with a certain friend, but not more than that. She says she needs space. She'll come home late and sleep on the couch until I wake up, then go sleep in our bed until it's time to leave the house again. Based on our couples therapy session, I think she is going to demand changes from me so she doesn't feel trapped. I don't want her to feel trapped. I want her to be healthy and to have healthy coping mechanisms and to want to be with me. She still texts "I love you" to me, but she hasn't said she loves me in a week. I am so scared she wants to separate more completely. Not only for my sake but hers. She's had suicidal ideation, and I just want her to be okay. I think she has projected her parents' relationship onto me and will see anything I do as controlling or annoying at this point. I think her therapist has heard her talk about me this way as well and is encouraging separation. I don't think her therapist is wrong based on what she's heard, but I think it's possible my wife is being selective about what she tells the therapist. For example, she didn't tell the therapist she was cheating on me for the 2 months it was happening. I would guess that she also wasn't telling the therapist how often she was going out alone drinking. At our next couples therapy session, I think I'm going to be told she's moving out, and if I don't want that, I'll be controlling her again. I don't know how it's come to this. When the couples therapist found out, she told me, "Just because she feels trapped does not mean that you are trapping her." But I am scared that my wife, who definitely has felt I walk over her in conversations, is choosing now to put her foot in the sand. It feels like the most unfair time and decision, but I don't want to lose her and start my whole life over. I also don't want to acquiesce to this and have her think she is right to think I want to control her. That would result in a life of her resenting me in her mind. I know I'm not blameless. We got couples therapy before this happened for a reason. I am argumentative, and she gets triggered by confrontation from past trauma. We have worked on it a lot, and I am doing better, but I'm not perfect. But above all else, I want her to be happy and healthy, and I thought she knew that. So how can she think that I want to control her instead of thinking she's coping unhealthily? I don't know how I came across with this text, but I am kind of numb right now writing it. I can stress enough that I try in every conversation to understand, even if she feels I am just trying to win or if the conversation gets heightened by my tone or her trauma. It's the number one thing we've talked about, and it hurts so much that she really thinks I want to control her, even though what I'm proposing, not demanding, is as mild as being at home by midnight on weekdays and trying to sleep well for her mental health. Relevant comments. His wife 10. You are in the thick of the so you can't see it for what it really is. She may have mental health struggles, but it sounds like you have done what you can to help her. You could force her to help herself. She needs to want that on her own. You may not be tying her down, but she probably feels like your marriage is. I think she came close to death and decided she wants to do what she wants, no matter how self-destructive that is or how much she hurts you. You can't fix this. If she is not on board with healing your marriage, there is no changing that. The more you try to control that, the more she will pull away. I don't think her mental health should be more important than yours. You have already prioritized her. To come back from infidelity, the cheating partner has to not just feel shame or guilt, they have to have a deep sense of remorse and be willing to go the extra mile to help their partner and the marriage heal. From the way you have described her since the day you found out, She is nowhere near remorseful. She wants to pin this on you and make it your fault. It's not. She doesn't want to feel bad. She doesn't want to put in the work to make it right. This is so click, but the tighter you try to hold on to sand, the more you lose. Focus on your own healing and mental health. You're going to make yourself sick trying to chase her, accommodate her, and ultimately you will lose yourself. Consider separation and really letting her go. Update. I'm going to give an update and then respond to some common feedback I got after seeing the couples therapist again. The couples therapist and my therapist strongly felt my wife likely has bipolar disorder 1 or 2 unknown, triggered from long COVID or something. Some family also suspected it. Over the last few weeks, we've had a few cycles in which she comes back to me crying, apologizing, saying she doesn't want anyone but me, all the things I want to hear. We'll talk about what our future may look like, whether we need a change of location or some kind of reset. We make up, including sex. This form of absolution for her seems to calm her. But then she seemed to get antsy again and leave for increasing amounts of time, again with unsafe behaviors. She's admitted to continued cheating in these times as well. I am worried about it, as she's come back from wherever she's been at like 6 a.m. and sleep for 14, 15, once even 19 hours. It feels very stereotypical bipolar behavior. Talking to my therapist, I've come to realize how unlikely it is that this will end up okay. I love this person, and as much as I want the best for her, it is not guaranteed that I am actually helping. Not because I'm not doing all I can, but because all change for her has to be internal. And statistically, bipolar takes a while to treat, and even if it is treated very successfully, we go back to having a relationship in which she was so insecure about whether she was good enough for me, about her own intelligence, and about confrontation, that it'll be hard to think we'll make it regardless. So I've basically made the internal decision that I'll be seeking legal separation, basically divorce with separated finances, but she can stay on my health insurance. My therapist has also said that I do exhibit some patterns for control to alleviate anxiety, so some uncertainty will be good to learn to deal with it. So I think it'll be a win-win for my mental state, my wife, and my future. I'm basically going to prepare this all, and when I think my wife is in a stable place, I'll ask for separation. She has already packed her things intending to move out anyway, so I think it can be relatively seamless. I am going to take some solo trips and ask some friends to plan a different trip with me as well. I've also been reaching out to many old friends and re-establishing my old community, and it's made me sad that I lost touch with so many great people and so happy that I have been able to get them back in my life. For the feedback, many of you were right that she'd continue to cheat. His wife 10 was really amazing and said what I needed to hear. I can tell you how appreciative I am of being kind while centering my well-being. There were others as well, and I am glad you took the time. Otherwise, everyone implying I don't have respect for myself or that I don't have self-esteem is simply wrong and usually not very helpful. Maybe for others, it would be a wake-up call, but I can't tell you how much it didn't feel useful at all. I genuinely have incredible resilience. I lost a parent early in life and made it through childhood poverty and self-esteem, and I am personally incredibly proud of myself that I can consider what is best for other people even while I struggle. I do not struggle with standing up for myself ever. I wrote that a week after I found out. I also want to caution the typical course of calling cheating partners every derogatory word in the book. Many deserve it, of course, but life is usually not so black and white, and while I don't excuse her actions, my wife is not how many of you describe her. People have complexity. She can lie to me and feel remorse. She can feel controlled without my being controlling. She can have trauma and extend that to me, but that doesn't mean I'm responsible for it. Not all lying is gaslighting. She can be empathetic to others and not to me. I'm not apologizing for her actions. She will feel the consequences for them. In general, I found the tone of many comments surprisingly unhelpful, but hey, you get what you pay for. For the future, I think we should remember that many people posting on the sub are having some of the worst times of their life, and extending some grace is not that hard. Thanks for reading. This is so sad. She not remorseful about her cheating, she ashamed she got caught, and there's a canyon between remorse and shame. Shame is a reflection on how she feels about herself, She's still not thinking about him. She has decided to be selfish now, and she's free to do so, but he needs to be selfish now too, or she will drain every drop of joy from him until he does not recognize who he is. I wish him peace.
That was the first story, and now we are going to listen today's second story.
I can't believe I'm involved in a story like this. I haven't actually talked to anyone about what happened, even though a lot of people are trying. I think I just need to vent a little bit before I talk to anyone. My girlfriend and I were together for years and we were engaged to be married. Last weekend she had her bachelorette party. I did not have a problem with it, especially after what she told me was the plan. Her and some friends were going to rent an Airbnb or something, a big place with like 4 bedrooms, and they were just going to get trashed and party and hang out. The day of the party she was at my place, a 2-bedroom apartment. 1 room I use as a home office. I am a self-employed investor. She makes all of the arrangements and goes to meet her friends. We texted a little, but as the party warmed up we stopped and I figured they were just having fun. After midnight I start getting ready for bed and notice that the computer in my office isn't turned off. Rather, the black screen was just a screensaver. It turns out fiancé had not logged out and her messenger was still open on the computer. There was a group chat where her and the girls had been planning everything and a lot of videos were uploaded to the chat. I was a little curious and I started watching some of the videos. Most of them were pretty innocent, just a group of 15 girls getting drunk and stoned, dancing and whatever. Then there was a video of a woman going to the front door and about 10 guys enter the apartment. I don't know they were and I did not recognize anyone. There were a couple videos of the guys and girls dancing and drinking, and then the worst happened. A video started of my fiancée making out with a guy on the sofa. She stops and rolls over and starts making out with the second guy. Then there was a video of her and the 2 guys going into a bedroom. There was also a video of them coming out that according to the timestamps was 5 minutes later, but that does not mean anything. For all I know the videos were an hour apart and they were all just uploaded at the same time. Seeing all this was like a sledgehammer to the guy. I walked into the bathroom because I thought I would be sick. I was not, but I feel like I paced back and forth in the apartment for about 30 minutes. Then I poured myself a rocks glass full of whiskey and chugged it down. I saved the videos and then made one of my own. Just a short little selfie video of me saying, "Hi, this is my name, your ex-fiancé. Just wanted to say I saw the videos from the party and the wedding is off. I hope it was worth it." I'm glad I saved the videos because in less than 10 minutes they were all deleted and my phone started blowing up, but I did not answer any calls or texts. At first it was just my girlfriend texting saying she can explain and it's not what it looked like. Then her friends joined in, but I ignored everyone and did not respond. Then suddenly I got a request for a video chat and I'll admit my curiosity got the better of me. I answered the call but didn't say anything. It was my fiancée sitting in front of the camera and she looked like she had been crying and the other friends just around her. I really only know maybe 4 of the friends, but I recognize a lot of the others. First she started apologizing but kept saying it was and what it looked like it was just a party and the guys coming over was not planned or anything like that. She said it might have looked bad but nothing happened. When I didn't say anything she just kept going on with more of the same and her friends backed her up. The more I didn't speak the more hysterical she got. Eventually she admitted to kissing the 2 guys but dumped the blame on her friends who all took responsibility for that, which surprised me a little. She said the kisses didn't mean anything and that all that happened. Then she seemed to remember the video of her going into the bedroom and she started screaming that it was just a joke and nothing happened. All the other women confirmed it was just a joke and that my fiancé had walked into the room and then turned around and walked out again. This just keeping going on and they just keep repeating themselves. Eventually everyone got quiet and all I said was, "Is there anything else to add?" She said no and I just ended the video call. I went onto social media and changed my relationship status to single and posted that the wedding was off and if anyone had bought a present they should feel free to return it. Fiancé saw the post and is freaking out even more and just keeps insisting that all she did was kiss and nothing else. I sent her a text saying if I suspect that her or any of her friends lies about what happened or try to make me the bad guy, then I will post all the videos online. Right now no one else knows what is happening. This was a couple days ago. go and everything for the wedding is cancelled and my fiancé just keeps pursuing me. Any advice on what I should do from here? Update. The update is pretty simple. Everything has been called off and cancelled. The wedding is officially not happening. I got the ring back and all of her stuff is moved out. She is staying with her parents for now. We did talk a little bit. It was mostly just her begging and apologizing and crying. She keeps insisting that all she did was kiss the guys. And she has never done anything like this before and she promises it will never happen again. Part of me really wanted to believe her, but the problem is that this incident puts our entire relationship in doubt. I think she may be telling the truth, but again the point is there is no way to know. If it is true that her friends pressured her to do it, then how can I believe they never did it before? We kept going around in circles because ultimately there is just no way I can be sure. She said she would do anything including cutting off her friends and only ever drink around me. She really blasted her friends online saying if the party had stuck to the original plan she would still be getting married, so maybe she already cut them off. All I can say is that at the moment I am single and I just going to live my life. Probably take some time to myself after getting out of a 4-year relationship. What crazy is that a couple of her friends are also texting me us to talk. I haven't responded yet because well it's hard to trust them too. Thanks again to everyone who expressed sympathy and I hope none of you here need to deal with anything like this in the future. Kissing is also cheating. Ex-fiancé is only upset she got caught. Thank God OP broke up with her. The issue is not whether she slept with anyone, it's the fact that she had the audacity to kiss other guys and cross boundaries and then blame her friends for her own shitty actions. If she can be so easily swayed, now imagine what would have after the get married. Thank for OP broke up with her.
Thanks for listening everyone. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Reddit Zone to never miss a future upload.